Welcome everyone to another episode of
Why the long face?
where Paul and I get together and we
Talk about stuff, silly stuff, stupid stuff, just stuff, our stuff. Not your stuff, our stuff.
just stuff that's important to us.
Just us, importance. Importance
Yes.
of the utmost to us.
And that's what really matters.
And that's how it matters.
Exactly. So let's start off with we have kind of a little bit to catch up on. So we're kind of excited that Game of Thrones is back on.
Yes.
We are kind of sad that Fear the Walking Dead is kind of dead for the season.
Huh.
And then we have possibly the new Spider-Man to talk about. So
Yeah.
Let-
We
let's start-
haven't talked about that yet?
we have no.
Oh, okay, good.
So let's talk about the twofer, which is Fear the Walking Dead. So they did a two-part episode.
Yes.
Kind of like they did when season first came on. And
It's kind of like they wanted to rush through it or something.
yeah, I'm feeling that they're rushing through this, and they might have their reasons, but they didn't tell me, so I'm kind of upset about that. But I mean, what did you think? I mean, it's just like the season first started out with 2 episodes, and now they're ending with 2 episodes. I mean, you feel just it was rushed, or
I guess they got where they needed to go. I mean, because it actually is a pretty decent season, though.
right?
So I kind of like, hey, where's everybody going?
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling the same way. I mean, to start off with the 2-part episode, the first episode was we have Ophelia coming back, where we find out that Jeremiah had found her at one point and then left her for dead, and then the chief of the Indian tribe or Native American tribe, want to be politically correct, found her and then brought her into the fold.
Got her healed up, and then she's working with them now.
Yeah, she's working with them. I mean, she, obviously the reason why she's doing that is because she feels like, she kind of feels their plight. Yeah, she fell in love with the leader of the.
You think?
I think so. I think she's, because if you remember, at one point he's going to go off on somebody, and then she yells at him, and he kind of composes himself again, and continues on, being calm again.
Yeah, I guess.
So obviously there's something there, but they don't really explore it too much yet. And the way she's able to just betray everybody so quickly, there's something going on. I mean, it was kind of messed up when you see them, you see her interacting with the tribe, and he tells her, everybody's got to hold their own weight and blah 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 blah. So, she helps out, and then all of a sudden they beat the hell out of her and then send her to the camp with the other people. You just knew that there was something funny about that.
Yeah. Well. I mean, because you're like, well, maybe she's gonna, go back with them. Maybe she's gonna go back with our, group of people that we're rooting for.
Right. Well, at least you hoped that was what's going to happen, but she's been pretty jaded since she saw her dad get burnt up.
Yeah.
Or what she believed her dad get burnt up.
Yeah. Well, and the mom was already dead or passed away, so.
Yeah. So she's been pretty jaded because of all that, and I think that is the way why she is like she is now. She's just trying to find some kind of purpose or something to believe in.
Well, wasn't she a nurse or something like that?
I don't remember if she was a nurse or not.
Oh no, that was that other lady. She died. Who was the lady? There was a lady that was like a.
Yeah, that was Travis's ex-wife.
Okay. That's right.
Yeah. I don't know if they really described what she was before, but yeah, I mean, she's kind of playing the part where she gets her hair braided and, you know, kind of trying to fitting in with the tribe, which I thought was kind of weird in a way, but you know, and then to hear Jeremiah, which is the old guy, the leader of the group, you know, describe her as the brown skin.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, she's with her own kind.
Well, that was just a weird. When was that? Did we ever find out when that was?
You mean when he found her?
Yeah, when he like said that to her. Like when did that take place? Like how far?
Yeah, I don't think they really tell you that.
I mean, it was obviously between when the gang started there, but it must have been like right after she took off, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was weird. I mean, and he's just like, you know, like there was water next to her. I don't know why she didn't take it, but he was just like, yeah, don't keep on coming back. Go back to your own kind. So I mean, you know, he was just somebody who was just very prejudiced at heart anyway. So and then Jake, which is his son, you know, the good one, the one that has somewhat of a sensible head, goes over there and tries to bargain for a parlay. And then that's when they go and they try to get you know, the what's the young girl's name? Alicia. They try to get Alicia back, and then that's when the whole thing goes to hell.
Well, the mom's a little half-cocked too.
Yeah, you know, like, of course, in her fashion, she's trying to do what's right for her, not everybody else.
Yeah.
You know, because she even says at one point, you know, everything she's doing is for them, not for her. And that she wishes she could just,
had the luxury of just like hanging out.
Yeah.
Of not, or have the luxury of having feelings or whatever it was.
Yes, something like that. So you could just tell she's kind of losing it herself too. And then, you know, and then they steal that trailer with all the artifacts. From, you know, the chief leader's ancestors.
But they thought it was going to be something they could even
Leverage.
use, and it was nothing.
Yeah, it was yeah. Yeah, they were just like, yeah, I don't care. Those are just bones to me.
And I mean, you know, back in the day, that was when they would make their money off of people, you know, going in there and stuff. But now it's just like whatever.
Yeah.
It seems like he was more intent on them being on the land than anything else.
Yeah, I think, and he had a purpose for that, and that was because Jeremiah and a whole bunch of other people on that land. Well, Jeremiah and he had, I guess he had a core group.
Yeah.
Had killed his father, uncles, and some other people. So he was more intent on making them pay than he really did want the land.
Yeah.
I don't think it was I don't think it was about he wanted the land. He just wanted him to pay. And, you know, taking the land from him was just his way of getting back at him because he knew that he didn't want to give up the land.
Yeah, but I wonder. I mean, I'm interested to see what's going to happen next season. Like, what are they even? I mean, what are they even going to live there, or they just wanted them off, and that was it?
Well, if you remember, Madison made a deal with the chief, and she said to him, what would it take for you guys to leave us alone?
Oh yeah.
And that was the deal. The deal was, to kill Jeremiah. Because everybody else that he wanted dead was already dead. So the last person that he wanted to see suffer was Jeremiah. And I mean, that whole scene between Madison and Jeremiah was just... That was just like... He
was like, you're ridiculous. I'm not going to do anything to them, for them.
Yeah.
And I think she thought, like, well, we have a good rapport, so I could possibly talk him into killing himself. Not happening.
Yeah, well, I mean, she was hoping that he was going to do the right thing, which would be to save everybody there, would be to kill himself.
Yeah.
But he's too selfish of a man to do that. He just wouldn't... There's no way that he would do that just for other people. He's all about himself. He was thinking more, about himself than anybody else. And he's always been that way.
Yeah.
I mean, you just see it in his mannerisms and how he treated people. He made it look like he was doing what he did to help other people, but really it was about himself.
Yeah, that's true.
So, and then when Nick came in, oh my God, I didn't expect that. I mean, I did, but I didn't.
He was like, your mom's more of a pop.
Yeah, well, yeah, because he was telling Nick, he's like, and what are you going to do? He's like, your mom has bigger balls than you.
But it's almost like he kind of taunted that bullet into his own head, pretty much.
Yeah, he knew he couldn't do it himself. And he knew he probably didn't want Madison to do it, so he felt better that Nick did it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of a macabre way of thinking about it, but...
Yeah, I don't know that she... I don't know that I think that she felt better that he did it. She realized...
No, he did. Jeremiah.
Oh, you think he thought...
Yeah, right. I think he wanted Nick to
So he
do
goaded him into it.
Right.
Maybe.
Because I think he respected Nick a little bit more than he did Matt.
It was a different relationship, yeah.
Yeah. So I think he wanted, if anything was going to happen to him, he wanted Nick to do it. Probably because, first of all, it's a man. So he, because he's got this way about him where he's very prejudiced and, he has a way of thinking that would be, hey, if anybody's going to kill me, I want it to be a man, and I want it to be somebody I respect. So that's why he kind of coaxed
not
Nick
one of
into
these
it.
broads.
Well, yeah, I'm sure that's the way he was thinking too.
I want one of these broads.
But yeah, I mean, I liked both episodes.
Yeah.
I felt like they were both rushed.
Well, it kind of like, hey, we're getting to the end, so we can get to the other. I mean, what's taking its place?
I don't know. I'm sure they had something in mind that they just wanted to push out there. AMC is doing very well with these, shows now that they're probably just thinking, hey, let's push something else out there.
Well, I don't think they're just like, hey, let's push something out. They probably have something planned.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're probably saying, okay, fear, we can end these seasons pretty quickly and then get to what we want to put out there and see if that'll work.
Yeah, I mean, they do have some good shows. I don't know. I think have we ever talked about that Into the Badlands?
I think we did a little bit, but I didn't really. I saw the first episode, a little bit of it, and I never finished it because it
was okay. But yes, it's not as good as some of the other shows.
Yeah. Yeah.
It wasn't
It's just
post-apocalyptic enough.
No. I mean, they seem to do pretty well with, the Talking Dead. Right after it, because I think it's just very popular as far as the shows are. Because I mean, it comes on right after.
Well, it's to wrap up, and they have all the
have an
people
audience.
there. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good show. I watch it too. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, what do they have now? They have Preacher, Turn, which is Washington Spies, Loaded, and Talking with Chris Hardwick. So I guess Chris Hardwick just has his own show.
Well, he's kind of funny. I mean, he used to be on some MTV show or something a while back.
Well, he used to be on...
maybe it wasn't MTV.
No, it wasn't MTV. It was on...
Game Show
one
Network
of the...
or something?
No, it was a computer G4.
Oh, okay.
He was on G4. It was Attack of the Show.
Oh, he was on that?
That's what he was on.
Oh.
Yeah, he was on that. Yeah. So, I mean, he was pretty good on that. But, it is what it is. I mean, he a lot of the people from Attack of the Show have gone on to do better things now.
Other things.
I shouldn't say everybody, but some of the people.
No, I think you should say they've gone on to do other things.
Other things, yeah. Well, like Olivia Munn used to be on Attack of the Show, and now she's got a movie career.
Some movies, yeah.
So she's doing pretty good for herself as far as somebody who had nothing, and then all of a sudden now she's...
Well, she's a piece. She's a piece of behind, Mike.
Well, it is what it is. Still doing good. Then we have to go into, which we're all excited about, is Game of Thrones. Now, let me ask you. The general consensus at my job, because a lot of people are talking about it. And
they have an opinion, and they're now experts.
Yes. Now, the opinion is that this show was really slow.
I kind of hate when people say that. They gotta tell the story. What do you want? Like dragons blowing everything up and people getting stabbed in the face and beat up every 5 minutes? There's a story. That's a book, Mike. You gotta read. You gotta establish characters and plot lines. It can't just be all explosions.
No, I agree with you. I liked the episode because, first of all, you can't just start in a season with, hey, you guys forgot about everything that was happening last season, and even though we did a catch up, we're just gonna run into a whole bunch of action and have everybody lost.
Those aren't even. I'm upset by that comment.
But, I mean, the way I thought about it is, I mean, they gave you action in the beginning. When
she killed everybody.
When Ira, what is it? Ira, Ira. How do you say it?
Arya.
What's Arya? There you go. I couldn't say her name.
Yeah, but I thought in the beginning when I saw that, I thought it was like like they were like going backwards a little bit, because when he got killed the first time, when he got killed, he was kind of sitting there by himself, and I was like, oh, maybe this is right before he got killed. And then once he said, oh, I'm not going to waste my wine on a woman, I was like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah. When he said that, I was just like, there's something weird here.
So
but
now here's a very minute little point of fact, but for her to do the likeness of somebody else, she has to kill that person, or that person has to be dead. Right. So the servant girl that she pretended to be, she had to be killed her, or did she kill her, or did she just take a face from one of those before she left?
It could have been, or because she knows how to do the process, she could have just killed somebody else. or found somebody dead and took their face. But it was, like at first I'm thinking about it. I'm like, how does she copy the voice?
No, that's part of the magic. That's
Yeah,
I don't think
she was able to do that.
But I don't think it's like her doing a impression of it. I think that's part of the whole ritual when you copy the face. I think that's part of the magic of it. You're able to do everything. Wearing the face is like the physical put on, but once you wear it, it's almost like a totem. You become that person.
It's weird because they don't explain the myth of the lore behind the whole assassins thing. They kind of give you a little tidbit, and then they don't give you much more after that. So, it's a mystery, but just, really, she's the one kicking ass this season, but she's doing it very covertly. Because she just goes in and she does what she's got to do.
Well, she's she that whole experience, it just fucking added to it. She's now even more of an assassin, so to speak.
Right.
Shit.
She went in there and she kicked. And when I say kick ass, she didn't really like beat anybody up, but she just fooled them all and just took out.
That was like
everybody.
Genius. You don't have to. That was like your whole. That was the whole thing right there. She. That's what she had to do is kill everybody. You can't fight them. She doesn't use. She uses what's available to her.
Well, she was always a smart girl to begin with.
Yeah, but that whole thing.
So
she's upped now.
Right. The intellect that she had behind her is what is driving her.
I just think everything that's all her experiences she's had is now transformed her into who she is now.
Right, yeah. And still she's bitter because she doesn't know that all her family's alive.
She
pretty much thinks they're all dead.
Dude, that's not her whole family. There's Jon Snow and her sister. That's it. Who else? What
the
other
brother.
Oh, that's 3 people. Her mother's dead. The father's dead. All the other brothers are dead.
Yeah, but the important people is what she's got to worry about.
They were just
it's
for the show.
They were just filler. Exactly, they were. Now that you have what is he called, the Raven?
The three-eyed raven.
The three-eyed raven. Now that the one kid is the three-eyed raven, then now that Jon Snow is pretty much the king of the North now. And then you have Sansa, who is just a pain in the ass now.
Yeah, she's a little, but it's Littlefinger doing a little bit of that too. He's slowly getting into her head, her thinking like, oh well, maybe I don't think like she knows he's a jerk and he's manipulative, but I think his words got into her head enough to say, yeah, maybe they should follow me instead.
Yeah, but I think what it is she's thinking to herself, okay, I've seen the Queen, how she manipulates and how she plays the game. I think I can be the same way. Like, that's what she's kind of thinking now. Because one of the things she says to Littlefinger is when he's trying to tell her, a story, and then she cuts him off, and he goes to say something else, and she goes, I know whatever it was you were going to say is was going to be something clever. And he was just like, just like, yeah.
He took all those sails, the wind out of her sails.
Yeah, he was just like, yeah. I'm going to go over here and sulk.
Yeah, but I rewatched the last season just before to get caught up, and then we were like, had the idea, why don't we watch the first season all over again? And it's just so weird when you watch the first season again, you're like, oh, all these little manipulations that you kind of forgot about are now, like
Right.
where they were season 1 to where they are now, it's just different. I mean, freaking Littlefinger's the one that kind of stabbed Rob Stark in the Ned Stark in the back. He's like, I told you never to trust me. And he had the fucking knife at his throat. I mean, true, he wasn't the one who actually killed him, but he still,
right,
you know, kind of led it to that experience.
And all that because he wanted
His wife.
His wife.
Which is kind of silly because it's never going to happen.
Right. Then, what really cracked me up this season was when Tormund, which is the big wildling with the red hair and the beard, and he's seeing Sam getting beat up by Brienne.
Yeah,
that's her name, Brienne. And he sees him get knocked down on the ground. He's like, "Oh, you're a lucky man."
Yeah, he is. It's just funny every time he looks over at her. You're like, she's like, ah, and he's like, hey. She's disgusted, but he's just like, oh, yeah,
because
he's like,
me on even more.
She's like everything that everything that he sees as desirable as not necessarily for a woman, but just what he recognizes as something of worth, she has.
Right, yeah. She's a very tall, well, how do I say that? Well, I was going to say well learned, but I mean
skilled.
She's a
skilled warrior.
Skilled fighter. Yeah, and that's what really I guess the wildlings respect that, a woman that can take care of them.
Well, what's cool about her is she isn't like on some movies where you see them like they're killing 1,000 people and they're just disarming them. She's generally, when they've had fight scenes with her, she's generally like in distress, but she does prevail. And I always like, wow, it's so like more realistic, sort of. Yeah,
more
so
authentic.
I'm like, she's, but she does. I mean, how about when she was fighting the Hound? In the beginning, you're oh, he's going to kick her ass. But then, as soon as it starts, you're like, oh, wait a minute. Maybe not. Because he's like, a big mountain. He's tough.
Yeah, he is. But I think that the thing is with him is that I think he doesn't want to fight.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was going to say, if we're going to talk about what happened in this episode with him, what I'm thinking, and maybe I'm just like trying, because I do like him, the character, so maybe I'm giving it too much credit, but I'm thinking because of his scarred face and his, he's a big brute of a man, everybody's like, okay, you're only good for this. That's what we want you for. Keep your mouth shut. Just swing your sword and kill. That's what we want. So he never had an opportunity to be anything else. Like, he couldn't be a knight.
Yeah.
Because they're like, no, you're because of your face, you're scary, and you're I just think the opportunity for him to be a better person was never there. Because if you remember way back when what's her name, Sansa had to run, he kind of helped her.
Right, yeah, he did.
And so, and even like when he was bringing Arya back, he kind of like almost, he wanted the money, but it was kind of, he made sure she was all right.
Yeah, he was kind of teaching her how to fight a little bit too. Like, he could see that she could pick up what he was doing, and he kind of took her under his wing. Like, he told her right off the bat, listen, I'm doing this for my own reasons, but I want you to know that I'm not going to hurt you either. And whether you want to take that for weakness or for kindness or whatever his reasoning is, he still did it, and then she ended up betraying him anyway.
But even Yeah, I don't know. I think at the very end, because you thought they kind of had like a bond almost, but at the very end, she just kind of reminded you, like, no, you're on my list.
Yeah.
And she didn't kill him.
No, which I thought she did too, but then when you see him walking with the, what's that, the pack of people that he's with now? He's with the people that the ones that can't die.
Well, it's not. It's just the one guy that can't die, not all of them.
Well, all of them have some kind of magic.
The guy's like some kind of priest. He's the one who brought him back. But then the other guy's just like he can't die. But I don't know, something would fire. Like I don't know if remember, like his sword catches fire. I don't know if he can do that or if that was just some shit. I don't know what that was.
Yeah, because in the episode where he goes to the farmhouse, and I don't remember him ever being at the farmhouse.
Did you see the very beginning of the episode, like the introduction, when he's sitting there? Like, come on, he's talking to Ariana, like, let's grab the bread and the money and let's go. That's where it was from.
Okay.
So when he, I forget what he did to the guy. He basically, like, I'm not going to kill you, but I'm going to rob you. Like, he took all their money and he took a bunch of food from them. Pretty much left them with nothing. But he's like, you'll survive. Right. And then I guess, obviously they couldn't. So he kind of, like... That was back from when he was trying to survive, I guess.
Yeah, he felt bad, and then that's when he buried them. But yeah, I mean, at one point he's telling them, look in the flames. He's like, what do you see? And then he was able to see visions in the flame.
And that's where he's kind of... I think that guy that brought him back, I think he's kind of like like almost like a really crude... shaman, like a channeler of the magic that the Lord of Light provides him.
Yeah, the one true God.
But it's it's like so many of them are. It's not so much witchcraft as it is more like faith. A lot of times where it's like, well, he gives me this power, which is kind of neat because it's more. Like in the world of a lot of fantasy games, they get their magic through their, deities and stuff. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I just thought it was interesting how he had no faith in what was going on. Like, he kept on making fun of him. He's like, you and that ridiculous ponytail. All it's doing is hiding that you're bald. Yeah. It's just like he really, you could tell he's with them because he's got nothing better to do. He doesn't want to be with them. He dislikes them. Well, that's the
thing. I'm wondering if that his whole thing is him being like trying to control the situation where he can't. So he's going to make it as miserable, but that's just his way.
Yeah. I think of it as somebody who was a bus driver all his life and has no skills, and he's 40 years old and he gets fired from his job, and then it's like, what do I do? The only thing I know how to do is be a driver, and I have to go ahead and find a job doing that, even though it makes me miserable. That's what I think the Hound is stuck in. That
that's what I'm saying. I don't know, I just think nobody else feels that he's worthy of anything else. He never had the opportunity to be anything else.
Right. And then when you see, and I called the kid Sam, and it wasn't Sam. Samuel is the other kid, Jon.
The one that's Jon at the library trying to find secrets on how to defeat the Walkers.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting to see his family dynamic now, where he's with the girl.
But he's been with her for a while, though.
Yeah, but he's with the girl, and she's just like, you need to get some sleep, and he's just like, can't, gotta, do my mission, because if not, people are depending on me. I have to like.
Well, and
not sleep.
that's his
But
thing.
that's
That's the only thing he can do, really.
Yeah, I mean, but it was funny to see him. Like his daily routine is just like dumping out piss.
It's horrible.
Dumping out,
yeah, it's horrible.
And he's doing it because he knows he has to help John.
Yeah.
But he's miserable in doing it, but he has to do it. You know what I mean? The poor guy. I was just like, oh. Like when I was watching that myself,
I think,
like,
and they purposely made
no.
it gross because, yeah.
Yeah. But it was just like, oh. And I thought he was going to get caught.
In that room?
Yeah, in that room. Because he got into that room a little too quickly and too easily. But the way he got in, and then he was just, in there with no problem. Like, nobody really questioned him or he didn't get caught.
Then again,
I thought he was
it's
just
a
going to get caught
library,
while he was in
so people are there to read, so they're not like, hey, what's going on over here? They're there, engulfing themselves in their studies.
Yeah, but some of those maesters, they like to cause trouble. Now, what did you think about Ed Sheeran?
It's whatever. I did not know at all he was going to be in there.
I didn't either, and then somebody had made a comment about that he was going to be in the episode, and then I watched it and I said, oh, there he is. I mean, okay, he was singing at the fireside with the other people. Nothing too exciting.
He's a singer. He did what he can do.
Yeah, I mean, I was expecting maybe he was going to...
A couple more lines or something?
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe the next episode he'll do more.
Oh, he's going to be in again, or what?
Because if you remember, Arya is
but I kind of think like she's going to wake up and move on or something. Or she's going to use them to get into the...
I think she'll use them to get into the castle, which, if that's the case... he's still going to be in it. I mean, they just don't. All of a sudden, just doesn't disappear.
I mean, he's just a nobody, a soldier. He's not really anybody.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. I mean, she'll use them to get into the thing. But at first, when she's passing by them and they're all like, "Hey, why don't you come, hang out with us?" I'm like, here you go. There's going to be some trouble there.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh,
dude, that's exactly what I thought. I was like, oh, man, are they going to tear her up? I was
like, I'm like, oh, come on. But she would tear them up anyway. She's...
Yeah, it wouldn't be too... Yeah, it wouldn't be in their favor, that's for sure.
No, I think she would have held her own if that was the case. And I think she still thinks she can hold her own even though she's... befriending them.
You're right. I think she can too.
Yeah, and
I don't. But
when I saw them all
feel
sitting
it's like a
down
friendship. I think it's just like she stopped and she's going to get something to eat and move on. I don't know that we're going to see them again, unless they said they're going to.
Well, again, I think they're building up. She's building up a little bit of a friendship with them, so she can get something out of it. Because that's what her character does now. She manipulates the situation and then uses it to her advantage.
She uses her strengths in her situation. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because she's not necessarily one to be like the Hound. Like the Hound only knows his sword, skills are what's gonna get him.
But he's not. He's not dumb. He just is like, it's not up to me.
Right, yeah. Well, that's the whole thing. Like with him, he knows, hey, what's my strongest feature, which is I'm a good fighter. So, I'm not going to try, thinking my way out of this situation where I just know there's going to be no other way except...
Dude, I love it when he just, in the last season, when he just took that guy right down with the axe.
Oh, yeah.
That was good.
Oh.
That violence was good.
You felt that. You were just like, oh.
Yeah. But he just
know.
walked right through them. It wasn't like he was like,
Yeah.
oh, let me spend some time. No, he just like it was as if it was nothing almost.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but then again, that's him fighting at his full
Well, he was
potential
pissed.
where yeah, he was pissed where before like if you see him now, he's half-heartedly into fighting. Like you could just tell he's just like
Yeah, but this season, that's what I think. I think he becomes like part of the charge for the walkers. I think he fights the walkers. At least it looks like in the previews.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Well, I mean that's what the one guy was trying to tell him. The guy from the what do they call them? The light.
Which ones? Oh, the ones that can the
one
guy
that
that
is
can
with them.
they got resurrected a bunch of times. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's what he's trying to prove to him, that you have a bigger purpose, which is fighting the walkers. The what do they call them?
Yeah.
The White Walkers. So it's. I think that dynamic is, they're setting that up. Now with Jon Snow and Sansa, I think Sansa is starting to rebel a little bit because of what she's been
she
through.
also is like, well, I'm the one who brought all these people to save the day. I'm like,
Right.
I get a little pissed off. I'm like, come on, you did and you didn't. I mean, yes, you did, but
Right. I mean, like when she's challenging him about the houses, where Jon Snow's like, why take a house away from a family when they've served us for years and it's not their fault what their fathers did? You know what I mean? They can choose their own path, and if they choose to be with us, then there's no reason to kill them. And she's like, whoa, wait. But in the same sense, Jon Snow's thinking about, well, look at what happened to us. You know what I mean? So that's why he's a little bit more sympathetic towards keeping those people together.
Yeah. And they're I think he's trying to focus on other things. He's like, all right, well, let's move on from. It's like, let's move on from that, because that's, out of all the shit that's going on, that's like the least of our worries.
Yeah, and I mean, her openly, questioning him didn't help the plight either.
He did not like that.
No. Well, nobody did. I mean, a lot of people were just like, I mean, I was sitting there and I'm watching, I'm like, I did. It was a verbal.
You're like,
how can she do
there's
that?
a lady talking. It's supposed to be just men. She should just
Yeah.
shut her trap.
It was just like in Wonder Woman when she walks in the generals meeting and they're all like, a woman? What's a woman doing in the war room? But, it was just... I think there's going to be a little bit of infighting between her and Jon until Jon has to set her straight.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Littlefinger's, with his manipulations, is driving a wedge between them two, and it's gonna be more damaging than good, I think, in the end.
Well, unless something happens to Littlefinger.
Nothing's gonna happen to that motherfucker. He escapes.
Yeah, I don't wish to think.
But that's
that
what's
way,
cool about him too. Is he is like he has his strength, and it's not with a sword.
No, and he does everything from the shadows, but in plain sight. Like he will manipulate and be there while he's doing it, and he's doing it, but you really don't. But it's one of those things where you're just like, yeah, you're right. You know what I mean? Rather than, hey, you're trying to manipulate.
You manipulate me, yes. Oh, okay. I just want to make sure.
But I think it's starting to look up as far as, and I like the whole setup where, they're setting everything up now. It's just kind of like, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of when you're playing a game and you're setting up all your pieces. That's what it kind of reminds me of. Because
the show's called The Game of Thrones.
No, but what I'm saying, this episode.
Yeah, they're setting up all the pieces. Yeah, I mean, that's what they, I mean, in essence, that's what it's always about. Where can you put your pieces on the board that are going to do the most, good for your cause?
Yeah, like Daenerys, with her going to her family's castle, the old castle.
My wife was like, man, she looks like such a like a kid. And I mentioned that at the guy at work, and he said, yeah, she's only supposed to be like 16. Or, between, and like when she got married to Drago, she was only supposed to be 14.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute. We're watching this on TV. How old is she?
Yeah. Yeah, she, Her and Sansa had the worst time with men. I mean, you had, when she was with that other kid.
Oh, Joffrey. No, the other guy. Well, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. What's his name? Dude, he's evil incarnate, that dude.
Yeah, but Joffrey never...
he didn't want his scars to be visible, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think Joffrey ever
did I don't think he even ever had sex with her, actually.
Right, that's what I'm saying. He never did anything.
Yeah,
the other guy...
He messed her up.
He was just like, yeah. I mean, she even said it. She's like, I dislike having sex with him because he makes it. What is it? He makes it. What was she saying? He tortures her while he does it. So it's not like it's a pleasurable type thing. It's more of a, like maybe like 50 Shades of Grey type of thing. But not in a good way. But yeah, I mean, she if anything has the most scars as far as psychological. Daenerys just has too much.
It's so funny that in this world, in this situation, is they turn out to be one thing. Grown up, life's going to be good for us because we're the sons and daughters of kings. It's just everything's, pretty much laid out for us, and almost kind of like, in a lot of the movies today when they're rich and stuff, like, oh well, they're going to be taken care of for the rest of their life, but there's so much shit that just takes, took a hold of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there was a lot that all those kids went through, But I think it's going to be a good season. I believe that, even though a lot of people said this episode was confusing or slow or what have you, it was a good setup. I think it was a good setup.
You gotta have that stuff. What do you want to see every week? A dragon flying overhead? Is that what you want to see? That's like stupid.
Well, yeah. I mean, who doesn't? But, you gotta have. You gotta have.
That's not slow. That's just. It's like reading a book. You gotta have the part that tells you what it's about.
Well, I mean, that's true too. So, switching gears from
into reality,
from medieval fantasy to, sci-fi fantasy. Well, I guess it would more heroic fantasy.
Yeah,
is the new Spider-Man. So, you being the biggest Spider-Man fan in the room right now, what did you believe, or what did you think of the movie?
Dude, where was the motherfucking spider sense? That is his...
I was kind of confused
Okay, he's
by that
fast,
too.
he's strong, but that's what kind of sets him off from everything. So that's like such a main thing. And they're like, oh, well, he has it, but they're just downplaying it because it's been done in so many other movies. Come on. In every comic, the reason he's able to avoid things... Because there was stuff that was going on where he wouldn't have been able... It wouldn't have happened if he had his spider sense.
Well, the one thing I don't understand is, okay, now, maybe you can correct me or not, but... I
will.
I understand that it was in the original comic book, the spider sense, right? But is there such a thing, like, do spiders really have that almost sixth sense of a...
No, that's just Stan Lee coming up with, hey, this is something unique.
Well, the reason why I ask is because I know with keeping to reality, which is what I think they tried to base this Spider-Man on.
But come on, he's a superhero. There's nothing reality about it. Like Superman, he's super at everything.
But I'm thinking they're trying to keep this Spider-Man kind of based in a 2017 type of reality.
Well, if we want to say, hey, how does a spider have spider sense? It doesn't, but it has. Look at all those eyes it has. It can see from multiple facets of different areas. So, and it does have. I know there's certain spiders that do have a certain type of hairs in a certain area. That's how they know when something's coming. Also, when there's something that gets caught in their web, the vibrations are on the web. So there are things that you can point out. But it was just like, hey, something unique to make him a superpower. Because, okay, he's super strong and he's super fast. Okay, so is everybody else.
Well,
there's got to be something that denotes him, and that's what, even in the comics, they've always been like, what? Tony Stark's always been, in a couple of comics, he was like, yeah, I've been trying to figure that out. If I could somehow tap into that. And eventually he's able to reproduce it.
Well, I mean, again, the lore of Spider-Man, they didn't go into it because obviously they didn't want to introduce how, and they might.
Yeah. But they should still have it. I mean, how can you not have a Spider-Man movie where in here something's coming towards him and he's like, where they do some kind of thing going on in his eyes or on the screen to let him know, hey, something's coming. I can move out of the way because of my spider sense. My spider sense is tingling. Come on, that's like a main thing.
But again, like in other movies they've explored, and I don't know if they did it in this one too much, is that he's so in tune to the area around him that, like when Tobey Maguire, when Flash went to go punch him, like in the first movie, and
that was
and he was able to avoid it, but he's also looking at how slow Flash looks to him. Because his mind is able to comprehend everything quicker. You know what I mean? So I don't know if that's the one thing they're exploring with this new Spider-Man, where he's got that, but they don't have to express it so much.
But why does everybody want to reinvent the fucking character that's been around for 50 years, and it's doing fine? Well, let's make it like this. No, it's not. That's not what it is.
Well,
I know that they're trying to make it look... I mean, I thought he was a good interpretation of him as a young kid with powers. It was kind of messed up where, hey, the girl I like, that's her dad.
Right, yeah, that was messed up. But what did you think of the ending? Like, I mean, and again, you have this other girl who kind of looks a mess. Like, she doesn't look like she's somebody who's, integral to the whole...
Well, I think she's kind of like more along the lines of the Ultimate Universe, where she's kind of like one of the gang.
Because, when she's at the end, when they said, okay, MJ, you have you're the president of the
new,
and then I was like, MJ, like I didn't even see that coming. I'm like, MJ.
I didn't see that coming.
And then
and then as soon as I saw that, I was like, I'm like, well, she's the opposite of being popular, and she has an interest in Peter Parker. And in the beginning, I don't think she did.
Well, she did because if you remember, when he was telling the debate, the teacher for the debate club.
No, I mean in the comics version. I don't think in Mary Jane's world she was so party that he was nowhere
on the radar.
Near that. Yeah, on the radar of that, exactly.
Because, like when he was just, when she's just like, yeah, he quit the chess club and the robotics club, and
I'm not obsessed.
And then
with
she's
it.
looking around. She's like, it's not like I'm obsessed with him or anything. Like I kind of knew that she was into him, but I didn't know why. Like I'm like, who is this girl and why is she into him? And then when I was waiting for that part that they do in the trailer, where she's just like, where are you going? Why are you always disappearing?
Yeah.
Why you? And then she's just like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm just kidding with you. I don't care.
Yeah.
And then they didn't do that until the end. I'm like, are you kidding me? But like my wife was telling me today that those two are dating in real life. Yeah.
Oh, for real?
So I was just like, oh,
interesting.
Okay. But she doesn't remind me of the typical Mary Jane. Like she didn't have red hair, which is what they do in the comic. They always had her with red hair.
That's her signature. I don't get it.
Like I was just like, why? But I guess it would be more obvious if she did.
I don't like my Mary Jane without red hair.
I don't think it's authentic. It's not. It's not really authentic.
People don't like talking chairs and Mary Jane without red hair.
But it's just funny that that whole thing is just like it threw me for the loop. I was just like, Mary Jane. I'm like, even in the beginning, when in the beginning credits where it says a film by Peter Parker, and I said to my wife, I said, what's this? And she's just like, well, it was probably made by him. And I'm like, no, it wasn't.
She's like, who's Peter Parker?
And then, then you go into, he's filming on his phone. And I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I was like, hey, what is going on here? And as soon as it started, like, the shaky camera, I'm like, oh, okay.
Like him and Happy, that whole dynamic was just funny.
Yeah.
Because Happy just did not want to deal with him at all.
But that was messed up because he's like, hey, I'm ready. Like, don't call her.
Yeah, he's just like, I don't care. Even when he was trying to help him, he's just like, I'm too busy. But you don't understand. He's like, I don't care. Don't call again. It's like, he was trying to help you. And then when and again, we're giving away a lot of spoilers. So if you didn't watch the movie, don't listen any further. But
if you didn't watch the movie too,
but just to see him when they were going to make him an Avenger, and he's just like, no, I'm okay. And that new outfit they were going to give him was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking, and it was. I'm wondering if that was supposed to be more of a representation of the Iron Spider-Man suit. But then the guy at work was like, no, the current one is it because it has all those gadgets and stuff in there. It has an AI and stuff. But that's what kind of pissed me off, too, because I'm like, Spider-Man, the costume doesn't make him. He's relying too much on that.
But then he kind of redeemed himself when he was in the... he was trapped under all that rubble.
Yeah, and that's see, I don't know if I spoke about this. There's two parts in this movie that really is me as a true Spider-Man fan. I really like them doing so. That when he was trapped under rubble, that goes back to Spider-Man 29 or something like that. Really, really long time ago, where he was trapped under stuff, and he's like, I gotta go. I gotta get out of this. His overwhelming responsibility of I have to save Aunt May. It was actually Aunt May. Aunt May needs me to be there for her. So it was far beyond his capability to lift it, but that was the first time where his willpower basically allowed him to do it. And I was like, whoa, you don't understand how closely represented to that. And then when Michael Keaton he got that look in his eye, like, oh shit, this is him.
Yeah.
And that reminded me of the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, right when, what's his name, Norman Osborn realized.
Yes.
Hey, wait a minute. So I was like, whoa, this is such a, like, that was a good tribute to that, because it was like the same kind of like look in their face, like, oh, shit, other shit's going on here, and you can see the wheels in their head turning.
And when he
but the Vulture was an interesting character because he
wasn't truly evil.
He was all about the money.
Yeah, he wasn't truly evil. It was more of a, hey, I gotta provide for other people and my family.
And he got pissed off when they took the job away from them. He's like, all right, I'm gonna go the other way, the New York way, the way of making money. But I don't know, the guy that's going to be the Scorpion, I was like, he's too thuggy. Like he was the Scorpion is a thug, but he's more like not. I don't know. He's too urban feeling to me.
Yeah, I know what you mean. He
like too not just a dumb. Well, he is like a dumb. I don't know. Just something about it didn't sit well. I mean, he'll be okay. I mean, it fits into the feel of the movie.
Yeah. I mean
But he's like, I got a couple of friends on the outside. Some experts were saying that's the Sinister Six.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you think of like the original Shocker got killed right away, which was kind of weird. It was just like I'm thinking, okay, this kid is going to be the Shocker, and they killed him off right away. And I'm like,
well, he wasn't a kid.
Well,
he was a guy.
I call him kid because he was younger. You know what I mean? He was younger than Michael Keaton, so he was more of a. You know what I mean? He was more of a kid to Michael Keaton.
I thought at the end what they were going to do is when he pulled him out of the fire, he was going to be bald. Because the Vulture's bald.
Yeah.
So I thought it was like he's going to be all burnt up and his hair's burnt off. I was like, oh. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, and again, you saw that Michael Keaton, even though he could have turned him in, didn't.
Well, he saved him, and I'm also wondering, like, hey, I'm going to get him. That's is it a cross between, hey, he helped me out, so I'm helping him out, or is it, I want him for me?
And it could be a little bit of both. You know what I mean? It could be I'm helping him out because, he helped me out, but I want the satisfaction of taking him down.
Yeah.
Because he, like I said, he wasn't really evil in the sense of, hey, I'm doing this because I don't care about anybody else except myself. It was more, I'm doing this, well, the rationale for him was, I'm doing this because I got to take care of other people.
But he kind of said, "Hey, when he had Peter Parker in the car, he's like, okay, right here."
Well, yeah, he told him. He said, "Listen, I'm about protecting my family, and I will do anything to protect him, and that means killing you. So be it." You know what I mean? So I mean, it was kind of a prelude to what his character's about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he felt, again, he's doing what he's doing for his family.
Yeah.
And really, I mean, if you think about it, it was more selfish than for his family. But still,
to help us. Yeah.
Right. It was more of a selfish thing that he was doing to help his family, but I still think when you think about it, he was still a good guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I liked him. Michael Keaton as, like, he reminded me of when he was in Batman, when the one guy says to him, "You shouldn't have overextended yourself." When he said, "Oh, I bought all these trucks and I got all these new guys in," and the guy says, "Well, you shouldn't have overextended yourself," and he's just like, "What'd you say?" When he did that just reminded me of the Michael Keaton Batman, where
the tough guy.
Yeah.
Like he's not like he can be an imposing figure.
Right. And he's just like, what'd you say? What'd you say to me? Like, really? And then, you know, he hits that guy. It was just like, whoa. He just knocked him out.
Yeah, I mean, how did they? I mean, he was really, he had a lot of, his mastery of that vulture armor seemed a little extreme.
Well, there wasn't much that he had to do with it.
Dude, he was cutting he turned it like the blades into like a finger and snipped the webs.
Yeah,
I mean,
that part
knew how to manipulate it.
Yeah, that part was a little. Yeah, that was a little much, for me at least, because it just seemed like all of a sudden, with the controls that he had at his disposal.
Yeah.
There was no way that he was able to manipulate it.
It was just
much.
like almost like a power, what's those things you jump off?
Just a glider.
Glider.
Yeah, it just looked like it was just
what
a
are those
glider.
called? What are those things called? Isn't there a name for those things?
You mean like a hang glider?
Hang glider.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a powered
Hang glider.
hang glider.
Right.
But then he's doing different things and stuff. The feet had the locks, the clamps and stuff. It was a cool idea of it.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, when you look at it, you can go, okay, it might work.
But Spider-Man being young and not experienced, that's why, that whole thing was able to intimidate him.
Yeah.
Like, Tobey Maguire, where he was in that Spider-Man movie, it wouldn't have been the same fight.
No.
He wouldn't have been beat up as much because he's already that's him as being Spider-Man for a few years now. He's out of school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
Where this one was just kind of like, hey, I mean, there funny moments. Like I did laugh at the point where he got the AI that was talking to him, and then when he's just like, oh, go into this mode, and then all of a sudden she's like, going into death mode, and he's like, no, stop doing it, don't do that.
Yeah.
Like every time he wanted to do something, he was like going into death mode. He's like, no, stop.
Gonna kill someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was a decent movie. I just, the next day when I got back, because the two guys at work were like, "Oh, it's the greatest thing," and when I got back, I was like, it's not my Spider-Man movie. It's not my Spider-Man. A movie of the Spider-Man I grew up with.
Yeah, but
you know what I'm saying, and I know that, I mean, there's different things for different times, but why? Why do you have to change the basics of it? Why are you giving him a suit that's smart? What does he need that for?
Well, it's kind of like we had this argument kind of with when I was saying that when Michael Bay ruined the Transformers for me, but by not representing the Transformers that I grew up with.
Yeah.
And you said, well, they're not viable in this time because of none of those things are
right.
and the values that Peter Parker had when he was when they first came
60s.
out, is not the same values that you have today. So they have to kind of keep them in that the now.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I mean, I think he looks damn, not to be gay, not that I'm so gay, really, but he looks damn good in that costume. It just fits perfectly.
Not that I'm gay, but I would definitely, think about.
But it just looks so like more superhero-y spandex than a lot of costumes have been,
Well, I mean, I like when he first puts it on, and it's all like flapping on him.
Yeah.
It's just like, it just looks like somebody who just kind of like took it out of out of the wash and it was just like just flopping on him, and then he just presses the button and then it just got form fitting.
And then his buddy puts it on, like, hey, you're gonna stretch it out.
Yeah. Well, no, I think he just had the mask on at one point.
No, he did. Yeah, he did. Well, Ned Leeds in the comic book stories he's one of the original Hobgoblins.
Oh, okay.
He was the real Hobgoblin put like a red herring out there, like, oh, this is when he got killed, and when he got killed, he had the Hobgoblin costume. So you're like, oh shit, that's who. Because when the Hobgoblin first came out, you didn't know who it was, and the first time you find out, it's this guy, and he got murdered as Ned Leeds, and then there's the costume on. You're like, oh shit. But then it turns out it wasn't him and stuff. So it might be in this series that maybe someone was even saying maybe in the future, his best friend, as like the Goblin, Harry Osborn,
right?
His best friend becomes one of his most hated enemies.
I don't know. You think they would do that?
It's weird, but hey, I don't know.
Because I mean, the way
Interesting.
Ned is more of a nerdy kid.
Yeah. To be sure.
Than anything. I mean, he would love to have powers. You could just tell he wishes he could have powers, but I don't know if they would give him. Well, I guess if he did get powers, it would probably go to his head.
Yeah, but and that's the thing, is you never know what's going to happen there, and that's what's kind of neat sometimes. I think is when you're presented with, hey, here's the most absolute power, it can corrupt you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if I was given certain powers, I'd probably, like, if I had X-ray vision, I'd be using it all the time.
Well, yeah.
And not for good.
Yeah, but how do you know you would be able to just stop at the clothing? Why wouldn't it go right through to the bone?
Well, it depends. It depends on what you can do with it. I mean, if it could stop at the clothing, yeah. If it goes right down to the bone, I wouldn't care. Then I'd be like, yeah, useless.
This is useless. How come I can't get any good powers all the time?
Yeah.
I can never get a good power.
The power to calm jittery squirrels, useless.
Yeah.
Until you have to use it.
Exactly.
And you're just like, oh, thank God I had it. I don't know. I thought it was a good movie. It was just kind of like when I first saw the Star Trek movie, the reboot. And a lot of people were so pissed off at that movie because it's not the 60s Kirk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I mean that's the whole point. It's everything is being upgraded to nowadays and now our standards. So things are going to be different. I mean, what we grew up with and what we accepted when we grew up is not the same as the ones that the kids would accept these days.
Yeah.
Because if you had the Peter Parker of the 1960s now, I mean, it wouldn't be a good movie.
Well, you can't. Yeah, I mean, it's different. I mean, he used to be like, oh, I'm going to school to do my science project, and I'm eating milk and cookies, and making sure that I have enough money to buy camera equipment. And Aunt May's selling stuff so I can have money for my camera equipment and go to school.
Yeah, people wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, but what about the hot Aunt May?
Listen,
she's not hot, but you know what I'm saying.
Well, they dumbed her down. They dumbed her down because they were putting her in a lot of.
No, that's how she is.
They put her in a lot of the like old women pants. Like there was a couple of points where she's wearing like pants that I remember like older women used to wear when I was younger, and I'm like, what woman would wear that now? Like it wasn't like very. Like, they tried to make her look old, and I'm like, that doesn't seem right. Like, I mean, they're trying, and I understand what they're trying to do, but it's not working. Like, they cracked me up when they went to that Thai restaurant. He goes, oh, here's your, what was it, sweet pudding, or sweet rice. And she's like, I didn't order that. And he's like, oh, it's on the house. Like, the way he said it so lovingly. He's like, it's on the house. It's like, come on.
He's like, hey.
Like everybody's fawning over her now.
Well, she's hot. That's what's
Just like
what's her name in real life?
Marissa Tomei. Just like with what's his name, the shop owner, where he got the sandwich from, where he's just like he's saying in Spanish, he's like, "Yo, this guy's on is just one piece of ass," and he's like, "So how's your daughter?"
Yeah, he got her. He got him back.
He did. He's like, "That'll be $10." He's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "It's only supposed to be 5." He's like, "I was just kidding. Just kidding." But yeah, I mean, I thought it was a good movie. I mean, it wasn't the Spider-Man I grew up with, but it was still a good movie.
No, I'm not saying it wasn't a good movie. Yeah, there was a lot of cool stuff about it. It's just, I don't know. I think what pissed me off the most is him relying a little too much on the suit and the spider sense not clearly being brought up. Because I really think spider sense is like his main freaking it's a main power.
But I think that was the whole thing that Tony Stark was trying to teach him anyway.
Yeah, at the end, yeah.
You know, don't rely on the suit. You know, rely on yourself. And eventually he did get it. But, you know, I just think that he, he's still young. I mean, you know what I mean? So there's still a lot to discover with him.
Yeah.
Which is good. You know, they still have a lot to do with him, and as long as Sony doesn't get involved in it and screw it up again, we should be all right.
Yeah, they seem to not do well with it.
No, they don't. And I think it was just all because of the, you piss off one executive and then, they ruin a whole franchise because he was pissed.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, because what it was is what's the kid's name? What was the kid's name that played the last Spider-Man?
Garfield.
Andrew Garfield. So he was in Brazil, I think it was, and he was supposed to show up at some kind of press conference for the new Spider-Man movie,
I remember
and
something about that.
Yeah, and then he was jet lagged, and he wasn't feeling well, and he felt like he was catching a cold, and he told them, I don't really feel like showing up, so I'm not going to show up because I don't feel well. And the executive got pissed off about that and then fired him. And it's just like, really? I mean, people are human and things happen, so you can't just punish them because of that.
Well, he said that's it. I'm done with you.
And then I always thought Andrew Garfield was gay.
What?
But then you come to find out he was dating the girl that he was co-starring with, and that was playing
Mary Jane or
yeah, Mary Jane. No, not Mary Jane. She was playing. What was the other girl's name?
Gwen Stacy.
Gwen Stacy. Yeah. Gwen Stefani.
Stefani. He can do. He doesn't want to date her.
But I mean, he was dating her in real life.
Oh, I didn't know.
So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't. He was okay as Spider-Man. I don't think I liked him too much as Spider-Man.
Yeah. Well, you know what? What did they? Someone said he made a better Peter Parker, and Tobey Maguire made a better Spider-Man. And I was like, I don't know.
I like Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, I thought he did a nerdy, but I don't know. I think they were worried that he made him too weepy.
Yeah. Well, the thing with Tobey Maguire was he wasn't a teen. Yeah. I mean, he didn't look anything like a kid.
No, I mean, he was young enough.
Yeah, but he looked, he still looked older to be a teen. And that's why they moved the movie along kind of quickly to get him, like out of the house and already already working. But like I was listening to Howard Stern the other day, listening to the they have that other channel for the Sterntology.
Oh, I don't like to listen to that. Only reason being is it's just like they're not number one, they're not the people, and number two, they're just giving you their take on it. And I'm like, if I want to listen to it, I'll hear it from them.
Oh no! I'm talking about this is the Stern. No, not the wrap-up show.
Okay.
No, Sternthology is the the older programs.
Okay.
Yeah, like 101, I think it is.
Okay, I
it's
gotcha.
the older programs, and they had just came from the preview of Spider-Man. So they were all talking about it. They just came from watching.
Oh, the original Tobey Maguire.
The original Tobey Maguire one, yeah. And what he said about it, which was kind of true, is that Tobey Maguire is not a good-looking man. Like he's not like a traditional, good-looking leading man. He's a normal-looking kid, which makes it believable.
Yeah.
Same thing with Mary Jane. Mary Jane is not. She wasn't.
Hello, that's Kirsten Dunst. Hello, Mike.
Yeah, I know, but Kirsten Dunst was like the next door. Like the girl next door type of beauty.
Can you give me the address to your neighborhood so I can drive there?
And that's what made it more believable because it was more of a, an average person type of story where that's what Spider-Man's supposed to be. He's not supposed to be like some, good-looking, gorgeous guy that has, the world handed to him.
Yeah. And that's what it is. He is just a regular guy.
Right. And that's what he believes made it work. And, and I kind of agree. I mean, when you're watching a Spider-Man movie, you want to feel like could have been you.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the way you want to feel.
Yeah, because he's like the every guy that becomes, becomes a superhero.
Right. But overall, I still think it was a good movie.
Oh yeah. No, I don't think it wasn't. Yeah, I really liked it. It's just there was, like I said, it was just some things.
I love the ending part. I mean, that was funny when he gets into the room and he takes off his mask and he turns and there's Aunt May and she's like, "What the?"
But his spider sense would have warned him of that.
Yeah, well, again, they're trying to, bring it to a certain point where they don't want it to be a hindrance to him either. Because you know what? It would be kind of like, that's why they nerfed Superman, because he was just too strong.
Yeah.
And if you had Spider-Man with the spider sense all the time, I mean, if you think about it, if he had the spider sense, would he be, in a sense, invincible because there was no way they can touch him?
Well, no, it's only when he's in danger, and there's people that don't set off his spider sense, a few of them.
Well, not too many.
No.
But, yeah. But, again, that's what they were trying to go for, and they wanted to make it more relatable, and I think they did it.
Well, I don't like them doing that. No, it was a good flick.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'll definitely watch it again. I'm excited to see when the next one comes out.
Yeah. I'm very excited for the Ragnarok.
Yeah, it does look pretty fun.
Which is coming up. And
I know him from work.
Yeah. Well, there's a point where he's sitting there talking to Bruce Banner, and he's just like, and he's telling him what happened. He's just like, yeah, they took me to this stadium, and you and I fought, and he's like, was it hard? He's like, no, it was easy, and he's just like, that doesn't seem right.
No, he goes, did you win? He goes, did I win?
Oh, did you win?
And he's like,
okay.
no, I did. Oh, that doesn't seem right. No, yeah, that's how it happened.
Yeah. Because I think there's another part where he's sitting there talking to Hulk.
Yeah.
And then, Hulk's like, saying some
He
stuff.
says like,
to him,
I'm a raging inferno of power. So am I. Well, Hulk is a raging fire, but Thor is more like a smoldering flame.
And I don't know if that's they're trying to give him more intelligence.
Well, they're trying to show that Bruce Banner, that he does have intelligence. That he's, and it should, because he should only be a mindless brute when he is in his full rage potential.
Right. Yeah.
But he always had a semblance of intelligence. And one of the they made a comment, one of the, with the movie coming out, they said, some of the superpowers that you don't know Hulk has. One of them is he can see ghosts. He can see, like, things not of this reality. Like when Doctor Strange is in his astral form, Hulk can see him. Also, he has the ability to, wherever he is, he knows how to get back to his point of origin, where he became the Hulk, where he get the blast that turned him into Hulk. He can find his way back always. No matter where he is, he always knows how to just find it instinctively. A couple of different, different weird things.
Different takes on it.
Well, you're just thinking it's just strength, but there's a couple of, weird things out there that I guess, a little different.
I don't know. I didn't think he had anything besides just the super strength.
But like a lot of movies, they show how, like Flash, all he has is super speed, but how does he use the speed in different instances?
Okay. I guess I'll have to take your word for that one, because I really haven't gotten into Hulk and any of his comic books that much.
I read him a little bit back in the day when he went to the Gray Hulk, because it was like such a total difference from the original one, and it was kind of, that was the heyday of all the different comics, so I jumped on board with it, and I read it for a while because he was like intelligent, and he was like, I'm not changing back to Banner ever. So he learned how to like do like meditation to keep his focus, so he didn't have to transform back. Yeah, I mean, it should be pretty cool. I don't know. I mean, I think they're making Loki a little too much like a good guy.
Well, he's only a good guy when he needs to be.
But, yeah.
He does it, and then he goes back to being the way he was.
But when is that coming out? With this November?
You mean the Ragnarok? What is that? November 3rd.
Okay.
Yeah, because they're making a big stink about it in Comic-Con now.
Mm.
Because they're showing all the trailers, and I know there's this one. When I was watching the trailer last night, there was one part where the woman that's playing Death, she says to him, she says, "My power is death. What's your power?" And then you see lightning going from the sky into him, and then he's like looking almost like Raiden, with all the powers just of lightning just kind of coursing through him. So, I mean, I want it to be good. That's
yeah,
what
I think they'll do all right. I mean, especially they have that major fight scene with Hulk and him.
Yeah. It should be good, but I don't like when it's going to be the best part.
Like when they show you only the best parts.
Yeah. And then that's going to be the best part is when he says that, and then it's done.
Yeah. No, I think they'll. I mean, I really enjoy the the Avengers actors really do a good job of bringing the modern version of the heroes to life.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's been pretty
It's
good.
just
so
a
far.
shame that a lot of them are like, yeah, I want to get out of it now.
Yeah. Well, like especially with Robert Downey Jr. I mean, his whole career got jump started because of that.
Well, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I think it got because he had a career. I think it kind of breathed new life back into it.
Well, I mean, if you talk, I mean, I've heard an interview with him where he said that he was pretty much he was done in the industry because nobody wanted to hire him.
Because he was a druggie for so long,
Right.
drugs for so long, and problems.
And they gave him the opportunity to play this because I think it was John Favreau that was doing the directing, and he said when he thought of who would be Tony Stark, he couldn't think of anybody better. And he pretty much gave him that opportunity, and ever since then, I mean, he's kept himself clean and he's done whatever he's got to do to keep sober.
Yeah.
Because he was given a second chance, and he said you don't get second chances often, and you got to hold on to it when you do. So, good for him. I mean, he's reinvented himself and is doing well.
Well, I even think the guy who's playing Captain America, I think he does a good job of kind of showing the modern but honest, like still being a little confused by, today's society, but staying true to what, made him who he was.
It's funny because he is another one of those characters. Like, he's another one of those actors that whenever he plays characters, they're sarcastic. You know what I mean? Like, he's always played in funny movies, and to see him in that role where he's got to be like a serious, almost like a stand-up type of person. It's just funny to see him in that because he's never played that kind of character. Even when he was in Fantastic Four.
Yeah, he was the cut up in that movie too. I mean, that's who his character was. Yeah.
Right. So, all right. So we've babbled on long enough.
A long time.
It's been a long time. But you know what? There was a lot to catch up with, a lot of regurgitating that we had to do, and we got it all out, and I think we feel better now.
Well, at least for a little while.
For a little while. And then pretty soon we'll be back to, give you, more nonsense to listen to.
Not the nonsense that you... What was it? Well, not the nonsense that you... Not the nonsense that you want, but the nonsense that you need.
Exactly. We know what you need.
Right.
You, even though you don't know
That's
it,
right.
we know.
We know. That's right.
We know. Yes, we know what we
That's
know.
right. Who knew?
All right. All right, everyone. I'm Mike LeBoy, and he's
Paul Romanek.
We'll see you next time.
Next time. Enjoy.